So you want to be a paramedic. It is the greatest job in the world. There is no calling greater. And you are absolutely going to hate it. I am Matthew Heneghan. I served accumulatively for 17 years as both a military medic and civilian paramedic across 3 provinces in Canada. So I have a fairly in-depth resume to speak about this. So you want to be a paramedic. I wasn't lying to you before when I said that it is the greatest job in the world, because it is. It is. The people you meet, the job that you're asked to do, the reward of that vocation is second to none in my view. You will see the greatest of humanity and you will see the absolute worst in humanity. And you have to understand going in that the person who joins is like you, the individual who joins the paramedic field, are going to be completely different after a fairly short time as a paramedic. Now, I guess this kind of depends where you work. I worked in fairly busy urban city centers, and so the call volume is quite high. And thusly, your experience level goes up at a fairly expedited rate. But even if you work rural, you're subject to seeing things that are different to that of city services. A lot of rural incidents are like farm accidents or high-speed highway collisions, things like that. And also prolonged time with patient because, I mean, obviously you're further away from hospitals. Sometimes you're in a home for an extended period of time while you wait for other agencies like law enforcement and stuff. So each area of paramedicine has its own complexities, like airlifting and things like that. They all have their own unique complexities. So I'm going to be speaking mostly about the road medic stuff. And the reason I say that it is the greatest job in the world and you're going to hate it is mainly motivated by this. In life, in this existence of ours, there is no greater high than saving someone's life. Walking in and altering destiny for someone. Pulling them back from the brink. Telling death, you have to wait. You can't have this one. And you have the skill set, you have the knowledge, the know-how, and the speed at which your hands work and the way you're working with your partner and the other agencies that are around, and you pull somebody back and you watch them take a... I resuscitated this individual with my partner one day. Older gentleman, cardiac arrest at home. His wife witnessed it, called us. We show up there. It was the end of our night shift, so it was first thing in the morning. We go there. He had taken a few bites of his breakfast, and then that was it. So he's on the floor. We begin CPR. We go through our protocols. Didn't get pulses back until we were in the ambulance. Once we're in the ambulance, he resussed again, or coded again, so we resussed. By the time we got to the hospital, he had pulses again. He maintained pulses. The next night, because I went home, obviously the end of my night shift, I was working again that night. And I brought another patient into the hospital, and he was still in the ER, but he's sitting there eating Jell-O. And so I kind of peeked my head into the room, and I was like, "Hello, sir. How are you feeling?" And he said, "Oh, I'm all right. Pretty good, I think. Yeah, thank you." No idea who I was. No idea why I was asking. Just probably assumed, oh, it's a paramedic. It's a hospital. He's probably just asking how. And I never told him. I didn't tell him that I was the guy that worked on him. And I left and I went and told Ryan about it. And I was like, "Hey, man, the guy's awake in there. He's eating Jell-O. Yeah, the green stuff. Yeah." And there is no high better than that. I've never done heroin, but I assume it's pretty amazing, right? Because people lose homes, houses, wives, kids, everything. They lose their whole life and they keep doing heroin. So I imagine it's got to be amazing. I would argue that it doesn't even touch. It doesn't even touch the high you get from bringing somebody back from the brink of death, from the clutches of death, from the Reaper. Reversing destiny. No high like it. You will go home and just the endorphins that are in your system, the replaying in your mind, just all these things, nothing will touch it. Nothing will come close to it. And the inverse to that is when you lose someone. And you will lose someone. And if you work in a busy city center, or if you work a prolonged career in the rural setting, you will lose more than just someone. You will lose people. People that you really want to save. People that you really, really hope can come back. And you might even question yourself because you might go on a bad run. You might go on a run where you've ran 3 or 4 codes now in a year and they all die. And then you go to the station and you hear about all these other guys running codes and they talk about how they came, oh, we got pulses back, got pulses back. Got to question yourself, man, like, am I losing my touch? Am I slow now? Am I doing something wrong? Did I forget something? Like, what's going on? What's going on is that we don't really alter destiny. The fact is, sometimes you walk in and destiny is already written, and we're not the ones holding the pen. We're just a pawn in the story. And that is a pretty humbling and defeating notion to digest. Because when you walk into a scene, especially for me, kids, old people passing away after a long life kind of made sense to me. The way I view the world and the way I'm like, it's still sad, of course, and it's still not something that I loved being a part of, but it was contextually easier for me to absorb those calls, put them where they needed to be, and digest them. But when it comes to kids, what makes it so difficult and heartbreaking is that all of our gear, all of our equipment, even the stuff that's designed for youth, rarely fits properly. It always looks too big. It always looks a little janky. It always looks like it doesn't align. And that's because kids aren't supposed to die. We know they do. The reality is anybody can die at any given time. Like we logically know that. But logic when it comes to death, especially in paramedicine, largely goes out the window when you're the one in the arena of battle trying to bring somebody back. Whether it's a young child or a teenager, and you have the family around and you can hear them sobbing, and every time you do something or every time you shock, right? Shocking is kind of a violent looking thing. You hear them wince or gasp or whatever. All these sounds play out from behind you, and they all stick with you. And then when it doesn't work out, when you don't get the save, that's a pretty low. So the high of saving somebody is truly limitless. It is up there, second to none. And the depth of defeat is, and I'm an author, I write, it's what I do, indescribable. There are no words for it. There's only a feeling. And if you go into paramedicine, if you go to become a paramedic, you will experience that feeling many, many times throughout a career. I tabulated with the assistance of call sheets and calculators and AI the amount of hours I worked, the call or the shift pattern that I worked at, the number of years I worked, and the number of dead bodies I encountered throughout any given month. It was tabulated that I've seen about 1,000 dead bodies. I remember like a fraction of those. And sometimes random ones will hit me. I'll be doing dishes and I will just get hit with something. And I'll be like, holy crap, I haven't even thought of that in years. And then I'll start kind of falling through the memory of that and that. And you kind of feel that low all over again. But you don't feel the high of thinking about a save all over again. You could think about the save and the high isn't there. It doesn't come back the way the lows do. The lows come back really, really hard and really heavy. The highs are only unique to those exact moments that you've saved somebody. You experience that. So there's an imbalance in the high and low and the good and bad of being a paramedic. And over time, especially in the world that we live in right now with overdoses and drug usage being plethoric and government policy being flawed and just political at best, you will likely encounter burnout, whether it's you or your partner or people on your shift or people around. You will experience burnout. It will happen. And burnout is tough, man. Burnout does lead to suicides. It leads to addictions. It leads to alcohol usage. It leads to divorce. I don't know too many people I worked with who are still on their first marriage. There's a couple for sure. Not many. Not many. And you will wake up one day. If you stay in the job long enough, you'll wake up one day and you'll go to get ready for work. You'll go to the bathroom, take a shit, maybe shower, shave if you have to. And as you're brushing your teeth and you're looking in the mirror, you're going to notice you got bags under your eyes. And then when you take a step back, you're going to realize you look a lot older than you thought you did yesterday. And the reality is you do. Your soul ages much faster than your physical appearance, but it does bleed through sometimes. It is the greatest job in the world, and you will hate it. You will hate it. You will hate waiting in the hallways with a patient that doesn't need to be there, and now the ambulance is out of service because you're there with a person who's spitting at you, trying to scratch you, kick you, bite you. Somebody who is just there to abuse the system, somebody who is just there seeking drugs, but it's not the first time you've picked them up. You know them by name, you know their birthday, you know every demographic about them. And you shouldn't, because statistically in a city of over 1 million people, you shouldn't ever pick up the same people, but you do. And you will get calloused and you will lose relationships. Because of your work, you know, you'll join and you'll start working and you'll have some cool stories for your regular friends, but eventually those stories are going to get a little too dark and they're not going to find it as funny anymore. And they're also going to invite you out, but you can't because you're working that Friday night shift. No, I can't, man. I'm on a run of nights right now. I can't. I'm on overtime. And you're going to miss Christmases with family. You're going to miss the Christmas parties. You're going to miss the Halloweens, the parties, the gatherings, the anniversaries. You're going to miss a lot of things. And so therefore, friends are going to move away from you. They're going to move on from you because their lives stay relatively stable. The civilian population, I mean. And so people that you were ride or die with, man, super close, they'll drift away from you. And one day you'll just think about that. It'll just hit you, whether you're at a red light in the front of the ambulance, or whether you're in the back of the ambulance listening to everything rattle around as you're transporting a patient to the hospital, and it's not like a super emergent patient, so you're sitting there for a bit. It'll just hit you. Man, I haven't talked to Kevin in, holy shit, like 2 years. And maybe you'll take your phone out and you'll flip through on the whatever social media is popular at the time. Maybe it's Facebook or Instagram, whatever. And you'll see this life that he's been living. And you might see a couple other friends or acquaintances that you knew, right? Oh, man, there's Donnie. Holy shit, Bryce. They've moved on. They've moved on, but you're still in the trenches. You're still there. Because your shift work, your shift pattern, your need to sleep during the day when they're up playing golf, or your inability to go party because you're working that night shift, they're going to move on and you're going to be stagnant. It's going to feel like you're stagnant. And eventually, the closest friends that you're going to have are the people that you work with, the people that work on your ambulance or your shift or do the same kind of work you do. And then you're going to get together and you're going to go drinking with them. And then you're going to talk shop and you're going to swap stories and you're going to look around the room and decide how stupid everybody is. And then that guy kind of looks like that guy we picked up, but it's not him, but it kind of looks like him. And then, oh man, do you remember? And so it's going to be hard for your civilian friends to relate to you. And sometimes it's hard for your family to relate to you. And that's why divorce happens, because it's not always just your buddies that move on. Sometimes it's your wife. Sometimes it's your husband. Sometimes it's the fiance. And one day you go home to an empty apartment with, just your stuff there. It's kind of sparse because you never really spruced the place up, because when you moved in, it was more for utility. You were just there for a place to stay, and I'll get to it. I'll add some stuff. I'll do some stuff. And then even maybe you do. Maybe you're like, you know what? I'm going to go to Home Depot today. I'm going to get a fake plant, and I'm going to, and you do the one or two things, but then it's been like that for 2 years now. The same exact layout, the same exact throw of pillows and that little blanket that you fall asleep on the couch more often than you fall asleep in your bed. Can't really get a pet because your shift work is so erratic that you really can't look after it. So maybe you have a neighbor come over and look after it, but then the neighbor gets closer with your pet than you do. So it's not really worth it, so you don't. So you come home from a busy shift, you come home from one of those defeats. You come home from losing somebody and you walk into your apartment and it's just you, man. You and your thoughts and the weight of the day and the weight of those defeats. And you're going to crack a beer. You're going to stare out the window or look at a black screen because you're not even going to turn the TV on, and you're just going to absolutely hate everything. And then you're going to go to bed. And you're going to wake up and you're going to go back to work, because that's what you do. That's who you are. That is ingrained in you now. You can't just go back to civilian life. You've looked behind the curtain. You've peeled back the layers of safety that the regular world lives within, the safety that you helped create, and you've seen past it. So you can't just go and sit in a bar and sit in the regular spot that you used to. You kind of like to have your sight line on the doors and the exits. And so you have to sit in a certain place. You never really feel at ease because you're out in the public, and the public is never a great place to be because you just never know what's going to happen. The job changes you. And it is the greatest job because you go to those moments where it's somebody's worst day. It is their worst day. May not be objectively emergent to the things that you've seen, but it's their worst day, and you go in and you fix it. You fix it. Whether it's by sitting down and just having a conversation with them, or you take them to the hospital and you're just so kind. Oh my God, thank you. You're so nice. Thank you. You give them a warm blanket, and you tell them all the things that it's not. No, you're not. The chances of you having a heart attack are very slim. Our monitor can't pick up everything, but everything that we've ran so far, your heart looks pretty good. Your blood pressure's stable. A lot of the things that we would look for in heart attacks, we don't see that right now. So my assumption is that you're not likely having a heart attack. But hey, that's why we're taking you in. They're going to get you seen. They're going to do a bunch of stuff. On our ambulance, we could actually do blood work, so we could check a BNP and troponin. So I would do that. Be like, look, yeah, your troponin levels are beautiful. So your heart's not exhuming those stress enzymes. You're doing okay. And just you talking in that way, being calming and reassuring and not at all alarmed about what's happening, that means something to people, and it calms them down. Right? When you go to a vehicle accident, car accidents are loud. The collisions are loud. It's like a war for a second. A freaking bomb goes off. And when you show up on scene, you see somebody still sitting behind the wheel, white knuckling the steering wheel, and they're not sure if they're alive or dead. You walk in and you talk to them like this is a Tuesday. You're like, hey there. Hey, I'm paramedic. How are you? Yeah, what happened? Okay, how you feeling? Oh, okay. Yeah, you got any pain anywhere? You do? Whereabouts? Oh, okay. Well, I don't see anything, but we'll take a look at you. I'm going to see if your door opens, okay? All right. Oh, look at that. It does. That's a good sign. That's a really great sign. And then you kneel down and you're looking up at them. And maybe you put your hand on their shoulder, and you take the fear that they're experiencing, and a fear that you can relate to because you know what it would be like to be in an accident. You've seen enough accidents. Maybe you've been in an accident yourself. Maybe somebody's ran into your ambulance, whatever. So you can relate to it. So you have some relation to that. So you know the kind of fear that they might be feeling. At least you can empathize with it. And just the way you're talking to them and the way you're casual just kind of helps soothe that. That's amazing. That's amazing. It's amazing to be able to take somebody's suffering and make it a little bit less shitty. Take somebody's worst moments and make it a little more tolerable, a little more manageable, a little more easy for them to navigate. And that's why I say it's a calling, not just a vocation. Yeah, you get a paycheck, of course, and it should be a good one. In a lot of places it's not. In Canada, in a lot of places it is a really good paycheck. But, how do you put a price on the kind of sanity that you're going to give up? Because you're going to give up a lot of yourself for this vocation. And that's why I call it a calling, because you either love it and continue doing it, or in my case, you love it, but you can't keep doing it. And you're told one day by a therapist, a very skilled therapist, I think your time on the road is over. I don't think this is good for you anymore. And then you don't really know what to do, because taking the uniform off feels weird. It's weird to just blend back into a sea of civilians because you never quite belong. You never feel like you quite belong. You're the fish on the outside of the bowl looking in. Because, like I said, you've peeled back the curtains. You know what it looks like. But because you don't do the job every day anymore, when you talk to people about the job, when you talk to people about the experiences, it doesn't have the same kind of weight to it. They've never seen you in uniform. They've never seen you come home from shift. They've never smelled smoke on your jacket from an apartment fire. They've never seen the grit and tiredness on your face from having gone through a call from hell, maybe a mass casualty incident. Triaging is brutal. It's brutal because you're effectively playing God, even though God has already made the decisions way above you if you believe in a God or whatever. Destiny, whatever you want to call it, has made the decisions above you, but in that moment, you're the one who has to physically manifest those. So in your mind, you're the one making those decisions, and those are heavy decisions to make. When you put a black tag on somebody who is still currently in the world, that is hard. That is yeah, it's hard, and that stuff stays with you, man. That stuff lingers in your bones and it rests in your sinew, and it's in your voice. It's in everything you do from that moment on. And generally, the average person can't relate to that. They can hear your words and they can try their hardest to empathize, but they cannot truly relate to that. And so one day you wake up, whether if you're still working, you wake up and you put the uniform on, and it doesn't quite feel as wonderful as it once did. It feels familiar. It feels familiar, and it feels right because that's who you are. That's what you do. But it doesn't have the same high anymore. Even when you save someone, it doesn't have the same high, because it is likely that you are going to lose more people than you save. And so even when you do save someone, it's a nice little pick-me-up. Oh, that's good. That's great. But it's never quite the same as when you start to lose yourself, when you start to burn out, when you start to fizzle. And you may be like, man, what the hell? Like, I just saved the guy. Why am I not feeling what the... So then you're kind of like a junkie. You're searching for it. You want it. And then when you don't get it, you are like a junkie. You get angry. You get frustrated. The world doesn't make sense. The things that you knew all made sense before, they don't make sense now. And now you're even harder to relate to. Even by your peers, even by people that work on the ambulance with you. And here's the other really shitty part. If you are taken off the road for PTSD or any sort of post-traumatic stress injury or whatever the case is, right? You go and you seek help and you get help and you go through that whole thing. You're going to lose friends in the ambulance service too, because you act as a reminder of their reality and the potential pitfall that they face. Or there's the white knucklers who are just holding on for dear life, just gripping, refusing to let go. And you, no matter how close you were with them, you act as that reminder that they might fall. So they don't want to see you. They don't want to see you. They don't want to relate to you anymore. So then you start losing those people. And that's hard. That's a tough one. Losing Kyle, Bryce, Kevin, and all those guys from your past, that's tough too. But this? Losing the people that you're in the trenches with, the people that you've held blood with, shared blood with, went through life and death moments with. Yeah, it changes your worldview. It alters your perception of trust, intimacy, connection. And so while the job is the greatest job in the world, you're going to hate it. You may not hate it forever. There are people that make long careers out of it. You just need to understand that there are some very real changes that take place along the way. And some people are really great at adapting. Some people are really great at compartmentalization. Some people are just really great at understanding the nature of the job, and they can absorb things and let things go the way they're supposed to. Not everybody who does this job gets PTSD, but everybody who does this job changes. So you want to be a paramedic. Do it. It's the greatest job in the world. And my hope is that you don't hate it.